when I thought I was impressing my father and impressing my family, it turns out they weren't even moved. And I spent years wondering why, and even to this day, with being a father, having my own kids, and certainly going through my own struggles about being a father and how I was handling things, I just always wondered why I felt like they never loved me, you know, and the level of abuse that occurred and the lack of empathy. I didn't have words for these things when it was going on. And that's another thing. Anyone from my generation would understand that we weren't allowed, that those words didn't exist back then. However, I was always pointed to look toward my faith. And my grandmother used to always say to me, God chose your father. And so if he chose your father, he chose him for a reason. So never disrespect him, honor him, and when you get disciplined, it's spare the rod, spoil the child. And as much as I was in church and as much as, my life was so rigid and strict, I followed it. I thought the physical abuse was part of God's plan. I thought that, you know, it all was supposed to happen, that there was a bigger picture at play. And so, out of that, I wanted this acceptance. So, I tried to be as good as I could be at anything just to hear my dad say or my family say that they were proud of me, you know. And it turned out to be the exact opposite. It was like I had this dream that I was going to be the first black president. That already happened, but for someone else. But I had a dream I was going to be the first black president. And what I used to do, I don't know if you're far along in the video enough to even care about any of this stuff, but I'll just tell you. What I used to do is record myself on cassettes giving speeches. And I started out as a senator, so I gave a series of speeches as a senator. I had to have been about 10 when I started doing that. I gave a series of videos about being vice president, you know. And then I even did my own election night results. I would record myself on cassette tape giving my inaugural speech. That's a tough word to say, so please don't judge me on it if I didn't enunciate it correctly enough. But these were things that I wanted to do. And I remember talking to my family about it. I remember saying things like, this is what I want to be, and I want to be president. And I used to hear things like, you're black, that'll never happen for you. You're never going to have that level of intelligence. You know, when I wanted to be a police officer, I was told police officers don't have families because no one can love or trust a police officer in the family, you know. And I gave all that up because I wanted their acceptance. I signed up myself to play Pee Wee League football. I walked to my practices, I walked to the field, to the games. No one ever showed up. High school graduation, no one showed up. I did have an uncle give me $50 though. and he drove the city bus. And if anyone has driven a city bus, it's overtime like that. At least it was in the 80s. I don't really know how it is now, but it was in the 80s. And so, just it seemed like anything I tried to do to gain their acceptance, it never happened. And I let that spiral me out of control. If you follow me and subscribe, which I hope you do, hit like, follow, and subscribe. I guess I'm supposed to throw that in there somewhere. But if you do, there's more to this story. We'll have different discussions and you'll be able to put it all together. I can't get to all of it now. But I just want to say that I was looking for this acceptance. And the day that I realized I was never going to get it is crazy. Because, and this goes back to the title of the video, how we have to have those tough conversations with ourselves sometimes. I mean, we're all our biggest critic.